Greetings and welcome to the 2021 City of Dunkirk State of the City Address. Thank you all for tuning in as we begin discussion on some of the issues we have been facing here in the city government and also some of the progress that we've been making here in city government. Before I begin, I would like to thank all the department heads that have provided to me the information I requested from their respective departments. I would also like to thank my team, and in particular, Braden Manzella, for all of his help in helping me get together this PowerPoint presentation for you. The safety and community health, again, we dealt in 2020 with the COVID-19 pandemic and the impact that it had in our community. The COVID pandemic had an impact worldwide. The city of Dunkirk was not exempt to that impact. In 2020, the city collaborated with New York State Health Department to bring COVID testing sites to the city of Dunkirk. Again, this was really needed at the time. People were complaining that there were not enough testing sites. We were able to collaborate again with New York State. I want to thank Governor Cuomo for having a testing site here in the city of Dunkirk, and we did that on several different occasions here in the city. On January 21st, 2021, the city participated in bringing in a COVID vaccination clinic at the senior center here in the city of Dunkirk. Over 250 vaccinations were administered. For police, our police department celebrated our 27th National Night Out, which is a milestone as many communities have dropped out of this program. This is a very important program because it provides our community members the opportunity to interact with our police officers in an uncontrolled environment. In 2020, our Robin Street Tunnel had been identified as a safety concern. So in 2021, the city will be partnering with DFT Communications to install high-tech cameras which will help to ensure public safety. And this again is to ensure that we will have the ability to make arrests if needed and prosecute to the fullest extent of the law to anyone that is doing graffiti or any other illegal activity in that tunnel. The fire department in 2020, the new aerial ladder custom made to our specifications truck was put into service. This provides our community with a new state-of-the-art truck which all of our staff have been trained to operate. And again, there was a lot of excitement from our community, not only our community, but people outside our community that we also provide service to. This is a state-of-the-art truck with all the newest features. In 2020, we replaced all of the department's self-contained breathing apparatus. These state-of-the-art units, which will enhance firefighter safety and reduce maintenance costs, were purchased with a FEMA Assistant to Firefighters grant. In building and zoning, this is a department that really was able to accomplish a lot of things in 2020 in spite of that pandemic. In 2020, the City of Dunkirk building permits issued increased by 8%. Fees collected from these permits increased by 41%. The total value of construction rose from 11 million to 28 million. This is an impressive 258% increase from 2019. In 2020, the City of Dunkirk issued 466 building permits with a construction value of almost $29 million. Again, this is a huge accomplishment by our department. Our zoning and building department has been working very hard, and we're very proud of them. Our inspection department has worked closely with STEL on their project. Units have been completed for 35 families, and another 14 units will be completed in 2021 for a total of 49 new homes throughout the city. In 2021, removal of blighted housing continues as more demolitions are planned, along with larger unsafe commercial buildings to come down. Municipal facility improvements include our water treatment plant upgrades. These upgrades continued in 2020. We expect this whole project to be totally completed in 2021. This is very helpful because our fund too, our water fund, if you recall, when I first came into office, this is a fund that was in the red. It is now in the black and doing very, very well. Upgrades and repairs at the wastewater treatment plant have continued in 2020. The revenues from the wastewater treatment plant, which is our Fund 3, also continue to increase, and this is helpful. Now we're bringing on Athenix, and with the expansion at Wells, we expect that these funds and revenues will continue to increase. Upgrading office space for human resources and building and zoning to make room for additional space to bring the police department up to current standards. And the courts and the public defender's office leases have continued in 2020. So we are now leasing office space to the public defenders and the courts, and that will continue. The staff in these divisions will be in their new offices by June of 2021. There's a lot of work being done there. We purchased the Stearns building, and we are doing work in there to remodel those offices and have them ready for our staff to come in by June of 2021. The city, in 2020, we launched a new website. It's a one-stop shop for information where residents can now pay water bills and parking tickets online. Visitors are greeted with a fresh, new, and exciting image of the city. In 2020, the city successfully negotiated contracts with 3 of our 4 unions. We are currently in negotiations with the Supervisors Union, which is the United Steelworkers Union. One thing I will point out here is that we had planned right along to offer a good retirement incentive. What's happened because of it, since I've been mayor, we have 34 different people that have retired. What the city's been able to do is replace these workers with new workers, which start at the lower end of the pay scale, thereby saving the city a little bit of funds. In 2020, the city promoted William Moore to the position of Chief Plant Operator at our wastewater treatment plant. Bill has established a good relationship with the staff, and we are proud to welcome him as part of our management team. Our DPW director highly recommended Bill and has a very good relationship with Bill. Fiscal responsibility, preparing for the NRG loss, presenting a balanced budget, and awarding of grant funding from all levels of government. In this section, I would like to, again, let people know that when I came into office, one of the first things I needed to do was learn the budget process. Local governments present a balanced budget, which means that our revenues have to equal our expenses. So, for example, we have our LED project currently in construction. The state provided us with some funding for that. We presented to the state a grant application. The state approved it. They awarded us over $1 million for this project. So in the budget, you will see $1 million added to our revenue side. And again, that same amount would be added to the expense side, which means the budget will be $1 million more than it should be. That's not a bad thing, folks. That's a good thing. That means we are doing activities to improve our community here, and we are using state funds to do it. So while the budget shows that we are spending more money, it means that we are in revenues receiving more money to improve our city. By becoming the sole supplier of water to the North County Water District, the city continues to see revenue increases as projected in this fund. The LED project will save taxpayers over $250,000 per year. This project is currently in construction and will be completed in 2021. As you recall, this is a project that was stalled by the COVID pandemic. It was supposed to be completed in 2020. However, because of COVID, it was put a stop. In 2021, we will be completing this project. And again, once it's completed, city taxpayers will be saving over $250,000 annually. So this is another way that we are able to deal with the loss of revenue from the NRG. The city is currently looking to begin the process of implementing solar energy for further cost savings at our water treatment plant as well as our wastewater treatment plant. Private business investment. The cold storage warehouse. We are currently working with the developers, the Krog Incorporated, and the Chautauqua County IDA for further expansion at this site. Collaborative efforts between the City of Dunkirk, Wells Incorporated, Chautauqua County IDA, and the New York State to bring further development with more jobs, including another larger cold storage warehouse, are happening already. We are in talks. I'm being told that the new warehouse would be twice the size of the one we currently have there now. So there's a lot of excitement there because, again, this will be bringing in more jobs to our city. Wells purchase of Fieldbrook Foods. The City Planning Board approved construction on a new wastewater treatment facility with construction to begin this spring at that Wells site. The city continues to work with Wells on their major expansion, which again will bring in 100 new jobs. It's important to point out that each one of these jobs is expected to begin a starting salary of $40,000 to $50,000 annually with a full benefit package. So these are family sustaining jobs for our community. Empire State Brands is another project that was put on hold because of the COVID pandemic. This is a hops project. It's a $14.7 million project, which includes the development of vertically integrated growing, processing, and packaging operation for production of hops, malted barley, wheat, rye, and other grain products. The new processing facility will enable further agricultural growth and create jobs in the region. The city is working with the Chautauqua County IDA and New York State to bring this project to fruition here in our city. I can tell you that I personally have met with members of Empire State Development to try to bring additional incentive funding for this project, and this project is ongoing. And by the way, that project is also projected to bring in over 400 jobs. This is regional jobs for our farmers. This is, again, the farming industry in our region will benefit from this project here in the city of Dunkirk. The Stell Route 60 development is continuing in 2021. In 2020, 4 buildings were completed and 9 families have moved in. In 2021, 4 new buildings will be completed with 14 more units. In all, 49 new units will be built within the city by the end of 2021. This is a major improvement to our housing stock here in the city. And again, this project is designed to create home ownership for people that are eligible to live in these new homes. The Pier 30 project is scheduled to be completed along Dunkirk's waterfront in the spring of 2021. This again is another project that was put on hold due to COVID last year, but it will be coming to fruition this spring, and it should be in service before summer of this year. The Sundays Power Sport Rentals at the Point. We are currently working with the developer to open personal recreational rentals, including kayaks, jet skis, paddle boats, tubes, retail, and more at the Point. We are excited about this project. We are working very closely with the developer. These are activities that we want to see in our waterfront here in the city of Dunkirk, and we're very excited about this project. Agricultural Transport has recently relocated to the city of Dunkirk on Franklin Avenue. The owner, Jacob Sam, is committed to our city and is a good community partner. Jacob has reached out to me. I've talked to him personally. We work well together on other projects, and again, he is a very good community partner. The redevelopment of the former Macaroni and Supply Company as a mixed-use building with Restore New York funds is continuing and is scheduled to be in construction by this summer. The total cost of this project is over $2 million. This, again, is another project that was put on hold last year due to COVID. The state is putting in over $1 million into this project. And we're very proud of that. We've worked very closely with the state. The governor has been paying attention to the city of Dunkirk, and this project will help us again to enhance our waterfront area. The Chautauqua Center, which is a federally qualified health center, is a $3.7 million project to build a 3-story state-of-the-art medical center on 3rd Street. This project is a project that we have been working with the consultants that the Chautauqua Center chose, the Colby Group. We worked with them to pick a site. They wanted to have a site that was centrally located with walking distance for their customers, and this is the site that they chose. So this project is currently in construction. Remtronics, this is one of the newest projects we're working on now. The city is currently working with a developer to purchase and repurpose this building. We have reached out to the Chautauqua County IDA for assistance as new jobs are included with this project. I have personally been involved with the developer of this project here, and we are hoping that the state will also provide some incentives to bring this project to fruition here in our city, which again will bring in new jobs. Public facilities and infrastructure upgrades. The Wright Park Project Phase 2 is a $368,000 project. These amenities include a playground, nature play areas, improved bike paths, sidewalks, and paving. Construction will begin in spring of 2021. And by the way, this is the first inclusive playground in northern Chautauqua County, which basically means that any handicapped person can enjoy this playground. Washington Park Project, $20,000 upgrades, including playground enhancements, installation of new, brighter decorative light poles and signage. This was paid for 100% with CDBG grant funds. And I want to acknowledge our DPW workers who helped out. Most of this work was done in-house. I would also like to recognize and acknowledge the help of Revitalize Dunkirk. That's a group that helped us out with this project. And I would also like to acknowledge and praise Jill Moe, as she was the one who coordinated and organized the project from start to finish. The Lakeshore Drive Complete Streets project is a $1.5 million infrastructure project. This is again one that was put on hold last year because of COVID. This is to create a more pedestrian-friendly, aesthetically pleasing corridor that will include traffic calming features, enhanced crosswalks, landscaping, paving, and more. Construction is set to start in the spring of 2021. Our animal shelter is a $100,000 project to purchase and renovate Dunkirk's new animal shelter building adjacent to the Hazelton Dog Park. The new shelter can accommodate a greater number of dogs in a more comfortable environment. Dogs will have access to outdoor runs, and the animal control officer now has a permanent office. And part of this project was to collaborate shared services with other municipalities across northern Chautauqua County to bring them in. This project here at the shelter is a project that we're very proud of. We're about to do a ribbon cutting there to do a showcase it and have people come in for an open house. The Pier Enhancement Project will continue in spring of 2021. This again was a project that was supposed to be completed last year. Due to COVID, we put a stop to it. This will include large-scale lawn games, handicapped accessible kayak launch, and additional seating. The Niagara Motors cleanup. Again, this is a joint project with the Department of Environmental Conservation, New York State, to environmentally clean up the old Niagara Motors site on Lamphere Street and Route 60. The cleanup is to begin in spring of 2021. And again, this is a property that's city-owned. It's been sitting there vacant for over 2 decades. The city proposed to the state to receive incentive funding to clean it up. The goal here is after we clean it, we'd like to sell it to Wells so that they can continue their expansion efforts at their site right next door. The sidewalk repair and replacement program will continue in 2021. Repairs to broken sidewalks being made in-house by city DPW employees will save money, and it allows us to do more sidewalks. When I came into office, we used to contract this type of work out. We are now doing it in-house, and it allows us to do, again, more sidewalks and saves taxpayers money. Grants and plans under the CDBG, we look to continue our children's programs at the Boys and Girls Club. The emergency home repairs for residents and housing rehabilitation for residents. And closing costs and down payment assistance for first-time Dunkirk home buyers. This is a program that's designed to create new taxpayers. So we definitely support this one. In 2021, the expected projects and programs, again, our Downtown Revitalization Initiative, that's called the DRI. We are working with Chautauqua County, along with our consultants, Harrison Studio, and we are hoping to present our project plans to the New York State Regional Economic Development Council in 2021. We have been working very hard on this plan. We are now putting in the finishing touches to this plan, and we hope to present again to the New York State Regional Economic Development Council, hoping that New York State will continue to supply funding for the DRI. Again, these are funds that we can use to revitalize our downtown area as well as our waterfront area, and we feel very good that our chances are good. It's a competitive process. We compete against all communities across Western New York, but we feel very confident that we have put together a very competitive plan, and we feel good that we can win. Youth and Recreation, Camp Gross is in its 28th year. Again, this is a program that was postponed last year due to COVID. We're hoping to return to Camp Gross to provide camping opportunities to our youth. And this is, again, one of the biggest programs for our youth that we have during the summer. In 2021, the city will be promoting fishing derbies in the city of Dunkirk. We have been receiving much recognition for fishing opportunities here in the city of Dunkirk, and we do try to promote it. So this year, we actually budgeted funds to promote our fishing derbies. Festivals and events, again, Music on the Pier. The city continues to receive much recognition, including, once again, being voted the 2020 Best Western New York Hotspot by Lake Erie Living Magazine's Best of Lake Erie 2020 edition. Again, last year, no communities along Lake Erie had any major events, but we were again recognized and voted the best Western New York hotspot by Lake Erie Living Magazine, and that's quite an accomplishment. We're very proud of it. Our 4th of July celebration will continue. We hope to have a huge 4th of July celebration again this year. As you know, last year we had to cancel it due to COVID, but we expect live music, food, and vendors. We have the largest 4th of July fireworks display in Chautauqua County, and we are proud of it. Building relations is something that I have been doing right along since I became mayor. I continue to foster those relations that we've developed. I think it's very important as mayor to continue to build relations and foster the ones we do have. I reach out to federal elected officials, state elected officials, and elected officials across the region to ensure that they know who they're speaking to when I have to reach out to them on behalf of our community for assistance, whatever the case may be. I want them to know who they're talking to. So sometimes when I go out to Albany, I do meet with them, and we discuss issues of concern, and usually they are very receptive because they know who I am. And I think it's very important, once again, for the mayor of the city to be recognized and to know and have good relationships. That's why I continue to build on these relationships that we've established. Things to look forward to in 2021. Again, I can't emphasize enough working with other municipalities on shared services. This is very important. We have municipalities very close to us providing the same form of services that we provide. We need to collaborate more. Effort has to be made to make sure that we are sharing services and saving taxpayers money. We need to implement our projects and new developments. Again, we have projects, as you've seen, that are ongoing. We need to follow through and make sure that we complete these projects. The LED project is one of those projects we are hoping to complete this year. And the Wright Park Phase 2 is another one that we want to complete this year. So we will be following through, and I'll be making sure that our staff are doing what they need to do to ensure that these projects get completed this year in 2021. This concludes our 2021 State of the City Address for the City of Dunkirk. I again thank you for tuning in, and please stay safe. Thank you.